Namaskar. Welcome all to Bhakti Yoga. Today I am going to narrate the story of Ramayana to you. Before I proceed, I request you all to please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Let's start. Adi Kanda. Dasharatha was the king of Ayodhya. He had three queens, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi and Sumitra. They had no children and spent their days in great sorrow. One day, while hunting, the king heard a sound near a lake. Thinking it to be a deer, he shot an arrow. The king had killed Sindhu, the only son of the blind Muni. The king carried the lifeless boy to his parents. The angry Muni cursed Dasharatha, "You will also die weeping for your son." The king consulted his family priest, Vasishtha Muni. "The curse can be a boon. Ask Rishishringa Muni to perform a yajna. Then you will get sons," he said. Rishishringa Muni was brought to Ayodhya with full honors. The sage performed yajna for 1 year. At last, a divine being appeared and said, "Give this kheer to the queens. They will have sons." The king gave the kheer to his 3 queens. Finally, the queens gave birth. Kaushalya's son was Rama, Kaikeyi's son was Bharata, and Sumitra had 2 sons, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. The young princes were given the best of training. One day, Vishwamitra Muni arrived at Dasharatha's court. He said, "The demons are disrupting our yajna. I seek Rama Lakshmana to kill them." Dasharatha was very disturbed. Sadly, the king agreed. With the young boys, Vishwamitra left for the forest. The terrible demon Taraka attacked them on the way. Rama shot the Vajra arrow and killed her. As the Munis started their yajna, the demons attacked. Rama Lakshmana fought fiercely and forced them to flee. The yajna was ended peacefully. Later, Vishwamitra took the boys to the Mithila where King Janaka was holding a great yajna. Janaka, the king of Mithila, warmly welcomed Rishi Vishwamitra and the 2 boys. Janaka had Lord Shiva's bow and had announced that he could string it, would get his daughter Sita as his bride. Many heroes tried their luck but failed. Rama strung the bow easily and pulled hard. The bow broke into 2. Hearing of Rama's feat, Dasharatha came to Mithila. The 2 kings embraced each other in great joy. On an auspicious day, Rama and Sita were married. Lakshmana married Sita's sister Urmila. Bharata and Shatrughna were married to Mandavi and Shrutakirti, the daughters of Janaka's brother Kushadhwaja. On their way back, the warrior Brahmin Parashurama stopped them. "String my bow and show me your strength," he challenged. Rama strung the bow easily and Parashurama was humbled. Ayodhya Kanda. Dasharatha was growing old. He announced that his eldest son Rama would become the king after him. The whole kingdom celebrated. When Kaikeyi heard the news from her mate Manthara, she happily gifted her necklace to her. But Manthara mocked her. "Why celebrate, my dear queen? If Rama become the king, there would be no end to your and Bharata's miseries." The queen was alarmed to hear this. Manthara conspired, asked the king for 2 boons. First, to crown Bharata as king, and secondly, to send Rama into exile for 14 years. The wicked Manthara had poisoned Kaikeyi's mind. Kaikeyi cast off her robe and ornaments and wept on the barb floor. King Dasharatha was dismayed to see his beloved wife in this state. Kaikeyi said she wanted 2 boons. The king promised to grant them, but on hearing her request, the king was shocked. Oh, how much she pleaded, but the queen would not listen. The king was heartbroken, but Rama assured Kaikeyi, I will uphold my father's promise. As Rama got ready to leave, Sita and Lakshmana also wanted to go with him. Queen Kaushalya wept bitterly, but Rama consoled her. Don't worry, mother. 14 years will pass very soon. Bidding farewell to their parents, relatives, and well-wishers, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita set out for the forest. As Sumantra, the charioteer, drove the carriage out of the city, the people of Ayodhya wept. The group reached the land of the Nishadas. Rama's friend, the tribal chief Guhaka, arranged for a boat to cross the river Ganges. Back in Ayodhya, when Dasharatha, the old king, heard about Rama Lakshmana from Sumantra, he died to grief. The blind Muni's curse came true. During this time, Bharata and Shatrugna were at their maternal grandfather's house far away from Ayodhya. Hearing of the events, they rushed back home. Learning that Manthara was the cause of their father's death and brother's exile, they threw the wicked maid out of the palace. Bharata and Shatrugna went searching for their brothers. At the foothills of Chitrakoot mountain, the 4 brothers met. Bharata pleaded, but Rama refused to go back to Ayodhya. Sadly, Bharata carried back Rama's wooden sandals to Ayodhya. Placing them on the throne, Bharata ruled the kingdom on Rama's behalf. Aranyakanda. On the bank of the river Godavari in the Panchavati forest, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita made a small hut to spend their days. Unknown to them, the demon king Ravana's sister Suparnakha also lived in that forest. One day, Suparnakha took the form of a beautiful girl and asked Rama to marry her. When Rama refused, Suparnakha took her terrible form and attacked Sita. Lakshmana cut off her nose and ears with his sword. Hurt and angry, Suparnakha rushed back for help from her fellow demons Khara and Dashana. Khara and Dashana gathered their forces and attacked the brothers. A fierce battle followed and eventually Rama killed all of them. Defeated and helpless, Suparnakha sought help from her powerful brother Ravana. Don't cry, said Ravana. Very soon you will have your revenge. Ravana brought Marichi, a demon with magical powers, to the Panchavati forest. Turn yourself into a golden deer and allure Sita, he ordered. Sita saw a beautiful golden deer grazing near their hut. Please get me that, she urged Rama. Rama took up his bow and ran after the golden deer. The deer ran deeper and deeper into the forest. Unable to catch up with it, Rama shot an arrow. As the deer fell, it imitated Rama's voice and cried out, Lakshmana, help! Please help! Sita thought it was Rama crying for help, so she urged Lakshmana, Go and save your brother. He is in trouble. How can I leave you alone? Rama is not in danger, but since you insist, I will go, said Lakshmana. He drew a line outside the hut. Never step beyond this, he warned Sita. The moment Lakshmana left, Ravana, disguised as a sage, appeared near Sita's hut begging for alms. Keen to give some offering, Sita forgot Lakshmana's warning and stepped outside the line. In a flash, Ravana pulled her into his chariot and drove through the clouds towards Lanka. Hearing Sita's cry for help, Jatayu attacked Ravana. Ravana cut off Jatayu's wings and fled with Sita. The chariot flew over the Rishwamukha mountains. Sugriva, the exiled monkey king, was seated there with his friends. Sita threw down her ornaments, crying for help. On his way back, after killing the deer, Rama met Lakshmana. The brothers realized they had been tricked. They rushed to the hut, but Sita was nowhere to be seen. They called out for her, but nobody responded. Looking for Sita, they came across the dying Jatayu and heard it all. Anxiously, they ran towards the Rishamukha mountains. Kishkinda Kanda. Bali, the powerful king of Kishkinda, had a bitter enmity with his brother Sugriva. Sugriva and his trusted aides Hanumana, Jambuvana, etc. had taken shelter in the Rishamukha mountains. When Hanumana saw Rama and Lakshmana approaching, he asked them politely, "May I know who you are, sirs?" Learning who they were, Hanumana respectfully led the two princes to Sugriva. Rama asked Sugriva if he had seen Sita. Sugriva showed him Sita's ornaments and said they had heard her cries for help as Ravana carried her away in his chariot. Rama heard about Sugriva's suffering in the hands of Bali. They both pledged to help each other. Rama promised, "I will kill Bali and restore the throne of Kishkinda to you." Sugriva in turn said, "I will promise to help you in rescuing Sita." According to Rama's plan, Sugriva returned to Kishkinda and challenged Bali to a duel. Hidden from their view, Rama shot an arrow and killed Bali. Sugriva regained Kishkinda. Bali's son Angada was made the crown prince. True to his promise, Sugriva sent groups of monkeys in all directions to look for Sita. Hanumana and Angada chanced to meet Sampati, Jatayu's brother. He said Ravana has kidnapped Sita and kept her a prisoner in his kingdom, Lanka. You have to cross the sea to reach there. Hanumana, Angada and the other monkeys went south towards Lanka, till at last they reached the sea. Sundarakanda. The monkey army looked helplessly at the huge waves. How could they ever get across? "I will jump across the sea," said the brave Hanumana. Thereafter he leaped into the air from Mount Mahendra and flew high above the waves. Reaching Lanka, Hanumana used his magical powers to become tiny and passed unnoticed through the city gate. He reached the Ashoka garden and found Sita alone and weeping. Hanumana gave Rama's ring to Sita and introduced himself. Sita was overjoyed. She took off her crown jewel and asked Hanumana to take it back to Rama. With great difficulty, the demons tied up Hanumana and put his tail on fire. On his way back, Hanumana destroyed the beautiful orchards of Lanka. Hanumana freed himself easily and set ablaze everything with his burning tail. Then Hanumana crossed the sea again and came back to Rama and Lakshmana with news of Sita. Rama, Lakshmana, and the huge army stood on the shores. The sea had to be crossed. Rama prayed to the sea god to come down and make way for them. But the rough sea did not come down. Angrily, Rama took up his bow to dry up the entire sea. Frightened, the god pleaded, "Ask Vishwakarma's son Nala to build a bridge over me." Nala now took charge. The monkey army threw huge rocks and trees into the sea. The bridge started coming up. Over the bridge, led by Rama and Lakshmana, the huge monkey army marched into Lanka. Ravana's brother Vibhishana urged his brother to return Sita and make peace with Rama, but he was insulted and thrown out of Lanka. Vibhishana quit Ravana's side and joined forces with Rama and Lakshmana. Lanka Kanda. Rama's army laid siege to Lanka. From his fort, Ravana saw them but did not declare war. To instigate Ravana, Angada came to Ravana's court. He insulted him, seized his crown, and fled. The war began. Ravana's son Indrajit stood behind the clouds and fought. He tied down Rama and Lakshmana with snakes. Lord Vishnu's mount Garuda came to the rescue. Seeing Garuda, the snakes quickly retreated. Thousands of demons were killed in the battle between the two armies. Ravana's brother Kumbhakarna was blessed by Brahma. He would sleep for 6 months, but once awake, he was invincible. The demons made a defensive noise to wake him up. Kumbhakarna went to the battlefield. The monkeys fled as he crushed or swallowed all those who came in his way. Rama finally killed Kumbhakarna with the Brahmastra. Indrajit again took charge and waged war from behind the clouds. For victory, Indrajit secretly undertook a special yajna. Following Vibhishana's advice, Lakshmana disrupted the ritual, attacked Indrajit and eventually killed him. A furious Ravana then pierced Lakshmana with the Shakti shell and he fell unconscious in the battle. The wise monkey doctor said only a unique herb found on the Gandhamadana mountain can cure Lakshmana. Hanumana flew to the Gandhamadana mountain. Unable to find the herb, he carried the mountain to Lanka. The medicines revived Lakshmana. Then began the great war between Rama and Ravana. Ravana finally lost his life in the hands of Rama. The battle ended. Lanka lay in ruins. All around, women wept for the dead. Rama crowned Vibhishana the king of Lanka. Sita was reunited with Rama, but Rama asked Sita to enter the holy fire to prove her purity. Without hesitation, Sita stepped into the sacred fire. 14 years later, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita returned to Ayodhya in Ravana's chariot Pushpak. Uttarakanda. On an auspicious day, Rama Sita sat on the throne of Ayodhya. The whole kingdom rejoiced. Since Sita had spent a long time in captivity, some people were unwilling to accept her. Rama came to know about this. Rama wanted to keep his subjects happy, so with a heavy heart, he exiled Sita to Valmiki, Muni's hermitage on the outskirts of Ayodhya. Valmiki Muni gave refuge to Sita. Here, Sita gave birth to twin boys, Lava and Kusha. With tender affection, Valmiki Muni trained the young boys and taught them to sing the Ramayana. Back in Ayodhya, Rama was sad and lonely. Some years later, he decided to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna. Shatrugna led the horse and set forth to conquer the land. The horse strayed near Valmiki Muni's hermitage, where the playful boys stopped it. Unknowingly, Love Kusha had challenged Ayodhya's authority. Shatrugna, Bharata, and Lakshmana perished in the battle against the twins. Then Rama, Hanumana, and the other brave warriors came forward. Even they fell to the boys' arrows. Hanumana told Mother Sita of all that had happened. Sita was shocked. The happy boys went back to their mother with their prisoner Hanumana. Valmiki Muni consoled her. He brought the dead back to life. The horse was then set free. Valmiki Muni and Love Kusha went to Rama's court. There the boys sang the whole episode of the Ramayana. Rama now longed to meet Sita. The Muni requested Rama to bring Sita home. Sita came to Ayodhya. This time too, Rama asked her to enter the sacred fire. He wanted to taste her again. Sita wept. "O heavenly mother, take me with you." Lo and behold, the earth parted and took Ma Sita with her forever. So friends, the story of Ramayana ends here. Thank you all for listening the story till the end. If you like the story, don't forget to comment below and please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more video updates. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.